Well, all month, we have been looking back at some of the top ag law and tax developments from 2023. More importantly, lessons learned from these issues. The man doing it for us, Roger McEowen with the Washburn School of Law, continuing the breakdown of the list, your list, the top 5 developments. Roger, always a pleasure. So I believe we are starting at number 4, and that is the employee retention credit. Highlights here, and why did this one make your top 5?
Well, good to be with you, Suzanne. Normally, a tax credit wouldn't be a big enough deal to make the list, but the magnitude of the problems associated with the ERC, and I think the frequency of the problems that tax preparers for farmers and ranchers faced on this one and are still facing, along with the fraud that can impact farming operations, put it on the list. As for highlights, this was a credit that was created in 2020, one of the virus years, to provide a tax credit to businesses that were shut down at least partially by a state government order so that they would keep employees on the payroll. And qualified businesses were those that had also could have had a decline in revenues compared to the same calendar quarter in 2019. So either you were shut down or you had a decline in revenues. Well, farm businesses weren't shut down. And many farm businesses didn't have a decline in revenues because the 2020 and 2021 were pretty good years. So that's one problem that's there when I talk about the fraud involved in this in just a second. But the qualification rules are so complex, they're so confusing. The definition of gross income was not straightforward. You couldn't just look at your Schedule F if you're a farmer, for example, to determine if you qualified for the credit. And it's that complexity that led to confusion, which led to fraud. These mills churning out the credits on a fraudulent basis.
So unbeknownst to them, though, turning out these credits, I mean, this was just so much confusion that the ripple effects then, I guess, really turned to fraud in many ways.
Yeah, that's right. The fraudsters knew exactly what they were doing, but taxpayers, of course, are in the dark on this because it is so complex, and things were moving so fast that these mills probably you may have gotten hit on your cell phone or got an email or something saying that they could get you an ERC. Well, some people didn't even have businesses or didn't even have a business in existence at that time, and IRS just had enough of this. They had over 3.5 million claims that were processed, and they said, we can't keep up with this fraud. So they shut it down for the fourth quarter of 2023 entirely and stopped processing claims, even legitimate claims, and announced a special withdrawal process that said, if you've turned in a claim and now you realize it's fraudulent, you can withdraw that and we're not going to come at you with penalties. And they added an amnesty program at the end of 2023. It got so bad. They say pay 80% of what you receive back and we'll leave you alone. And now there's proposed legislation that just cleared the House Ways and Means Committee last Friday that would put substantial penalties on these ERC mills.
Wow, boy, throwing people a safety net there, but great to see legislation is now there to help people out as we head into this new year. But boy, what a nightmare. I want to know our next segment. We're going to be entering your top 3 developments. A little preview on what we can expect?
Maybe something about the Dormant Commerce Clause and pork. Just saying.
I think we know where you're going with that. Thank you so much, as always, Roger. A pleasure. Thanks for all the information. Great stuff, as always. Roger McEowen with the Washburn School of Law.